Have you ever just watched an NBA team and could sense they had no idea what they were doing? Whether they're drafting prospects that clearly don't align with their future, making questionable trades, or just creating an overall team environment that isn't fun to be a part of? Some organizations tend to breed more chaos than order. Teams that fall under this category tend to be labeled as black holes, where the spirit of losing has become so strong that not even a shred of optimism will survive. The New Jersey Nets have had some Hall of Fame talent on their roster like Jason Kidd, Vince Carter, etc., but they were never able to get over that postseason hump. 2001 to 2003 had to be extremely frustrating for them as they managed to overcome and make the finals 2 seasons in a row, but will ultimately lose both times to the much better Western Conference opponent. 10 years after their back-to-back finals run, the organization moves to Brooklyn and makes the win-now trade of a lifetime. The Nets traded away their 2014, 2016, and 2018 first-round draft picks, the right to swap 2017 first-round draft picks, and some role players to Boston for Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Jason Terry, and DJ White. If this trade had happened in 2007, the Nets would have been unstoppable, but by 2013, these guys were close to being washed, if anything. Ever since this trade was made, the Brooklyn Nets haven't made it past the second round of the postseason. By 2021, the Nets were able to acquire Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden to form the big three of the century. Unfortunately, between Harden and KD dealing with injuries, and Irving battling jab mandates and other controversies, they only played 16 games together and only made it past the first round of the postseason. Surely after 20 plus years they figured something out, right? Well,
Damn!
I think the NBA world was just as shocked as I was when the Nets picked 4 guards in their previous draft, as if their philosophy was, out of these 4 guards, we will find one we like. Like what? As you could probably imagine, trying to develop 4 rookie guards at once has been a disaster, and they end up looking lost out there most of the time. Then you add in the fact that veteran leadership is headed by Michael Porter Jr. and Cam Thomas, high volume scorers that attempt close to 20 shots per game but average less than 3 assists. You got a perfect recipe for poor chemistry amongst the team. The Nets only have a few first round picks over the next 5 plus years, so it's looking like another decade of misfortune. If we stay out east and drive a few hours to Washington, D.C., we'll find another team that has formed a black hole in their organization. Unlike the Nets, the Wizards were able to win a championship, but the following years were filled with postseason struggles. The year after they won the championship in the 1977-78 season as the Bullets, they made it back to the finals but lost in 5 games. Ever since 1978, the Wizards have not made it past the second round of the playoffs. The Wizards had the attention of the league around 2013 to 2017 when their young duo John Wall and Bradley Beal began to emerge in the East. If you take away the highlight performances that this duo was putting on though, as a unit, this team was mediocre at best. 2017 was their best year as a unit, finishing 49-33, which placed them 4th in the East. The Wizards failed to evolve their roster during this time to get past the Eastern Conference Titans like the 13-14 Indiana Pacers or the 14-15 Atlanta Hawks. I guess they're lucky they never had to feel the wrath of LeBron in the postseason, because I'm sure they would have got swept. Unfortunately, as time went on, the Wizards only gotten worse. The Wizards had the lowest winning percentage in the NBA since January 2021, and their overall record since then has been 144 and 288. They just haven't been able to find consistency with their young talent, even with seasoned additions like Russell Westbrook or CJ McCollum. There's a glimmer of hope for this franchise after making a pretty surprising trade with the Atlanta Hawks. All-star point guard Trae Young requested to be sent to DC, and this could really shake things up for the Wizards. Even though Young essentially got traded for a cheesesteak and a can of soda, if he can return to that elite playmaking sniper that we're accustomed to, then DC could become an attractive destination. The Wizards, along with Young, are both seeking second chances to prove themselves valuable in this league. I believe they are 2 key players away from making a lot of noise in the Eastern Conference. I have to admit, the Wizards have the highest chance of reversing their black hole label if they gather the right pieces around Young. 2019 was a transformative year for the New Orleans Pelicans. Anthony Davis declined to extend and ended up getting traded to the Lakers, and the Pelicans drafted the once-in-a-lifetime prospect. If you witnessed what Zion Williamson did in high school and college, it was clear he would breed a next generational talent that would bring success wherever he goes. Unfortunately, we only got to see a glimpse of Zion in his rookie year as a knee surgery limited his participation to only 24 games. He was able to bounce back in his sophomore season though, averaging 27 points and 7 rebounds while shooting 61% from the field. This earned him his first All-Star honors. At this point, the Pelicans knew they found their superstar for years to come and figured it was only a matter of time before they'd be competitive in the postseason. After years of losing, the Pelicans were desperate to find something to change their fate, but investing so heavily in Zion may have set them back even further. Zion missed the entire 21-22 season due to a Jones fracture in his right foot, but the reason for this injury becomes a lingering issue. Zion's weight began to exceed 300 pounds during the rehab process, which only added more stress on his injured foot. The culinary influences of New Orleans were too much for Zion to resist, and changes needed to be made. Not only did the Pelicans hire dietitians to assist Zion, but they also structured his contract with incentives if he stayed under 295 pounds and passed all 6 of his weigh-in checkpoints throughout the season. Things were looking up again as Zion returned to the 22-23 season and had another All-Star level campaign despite playing less than 30 games that season. During the summer of 2023, the second issue with Zion appeared, and there was nothing the Pelicans could do to help with this one. Zion was already struggling with his conditioning and weight issues, and on top of that, he was dealing with baby mama drama. When his secret lover posted content featuring her and Zion at their baby shower, an adult film star that Zion was messing with on the low exposed him on social media. It also doesn't help that another film star exposed Zion a couple weeks ago, so see, this is a recurring issue. The Pelicans haven't made it to the postseason since 2024, and Zion is healthy but inconsistent. They have a solid young core to build a foundation on, but the pieces just haven't come together yet. With the quiet development of their rookie Derek Queen, it'll be interesting to see how they navigate Zion's contract in the future. Drafting Zion definitely wasn't a mistake, because back then it was the obvious choice, but unfortunately, it was a case of the organization being more locked in than the player.